What would you say are some of the biggest challenges for an Irish company that is hoping to scale, certainly beyond the Irish market? What are some of the things working against us right now?
I think one of the biggest challenges getting founders from the get-go, from kind of when they start thinking about their grand end of the goal, the end of the road vision, is thinking big. And I mean that in every way possible, in innovation, like the field that you're disrupting, in market size, kind of in what your end product will look like. So oftentimes, like everyone says, like, oh, ambition is this problem in Ireland. And I don't actually see that. It's more so just from the get-go thinking about, okay, what are my competitors doing? Not just here in Ireland or in the UK or in Europe, but in Asia, South America, the US. So it's just a matter of getting people literally out of the building and thinking about, okay, what can I achieve here, but what's the end goal at the end of the day?
Like I was, during the mentoring stage, somebody came up to me and said, we're into world domination. And I said, boom, yes, okay, tell me. It already captures your attention, okay? But we don't think about that. We sometimes kind of step back and get consumed by immediate problems of launching the product, launching the company as well. So pre-thinking is important. And finally, as I said before, the framing biases are very strong. This is true for investors, it's true for the startups, it's true for companies as well. Once we sink the cost into developing a prototype and selling it here and maybe in the UK, we tend to think of, I already allocated that capability, therefore I should keep pursuing mining that market for sales. And then the internationalization and globalization of business kind of get pushed behind. And that's not the right thing to do. It's not the right way, in my view, in my view, it's not the right way of thinking about it. Internationalization doesn't come at the cost of sacrificing sales in the domestic market. It rather comes as an entirely different strategy, as a separate strategy for real growth and expansion. So, kind of my 5 cents.
Yeah, I think one of the important things is that often we're not ambitious enough. And a lot of the funding systems, a lot of the processes that are involved in enterprise support don't actually drive us. They're more comfortable, they don't drive us to internationalize early on. And the amounts of funding force us to often set limits with a limit rather than a horizon. So what I would implore people to do is, out of a box, is to be ambitious and to aim high. For example, out of a box to sell in the UK rather than sell in Ireland. I was found in startups that I ran, selling locally in Ireland was always very tough, even with the most sophisticated companies. And actually going to the UK or going to the United States was far easier, even with a prototype, so long as one supported it. So a critical aspect is to be ambitious early on, because the sooner you internationalize and try to build your brand, the better the result you will get long term. And there are ways of doing that very cheaply now. In the old days, you had to have a chariot and a whole 9 yards and an office and a presence. Now you can do it virtually. But you've got to get your mindset into that role of internationalization and being a global brand. And if you haven't got that, it takes time to get it, and it takes time to be in the field, in the furrow, doing that before you get there. And in order to do that, you've got to look like $1 million company, even though you might only have $1 in the bank.